What's up, my Power Ranger brothers and sisters, my Renegade family? Daddy Louie in the house. That sounded terrible. Let's never do that again. So welcome to my normal Monday live stream. Last week was a makeup week. This week is normal week, I think. I don't know. I got them all confused. But I'm glad to be here 2 weeks in a row. That's what we like to see. If you'll notice, I have a lot more lighting in here than I normally do. And that is because the clock's changed. And now it's like super bright in here because the sun sets behind my house. And that's behind my house where I'm pointing right now. So the sun is like right there right now. So like for the next hour or so, you're going to get better lighting than normal. And then the sun will be gone and it'll go back to normal. What's up with my hat? Oh, geez. Anyway, less about me, more about you and what we're doing here today. We are painting Darkonda. Is that how you pronounce his name? Darkonda. It's a cool name. Super interesting looking fella, dude. So let's just go down to the table, stop with my talking, and let's see what we got here. So this guy is super interesting. I don't know anything about the character, so I'm going to tell you how I perceived this character to be based on what I've seen. So he looks like a demon, like a half demon, half spikes out of control guy. You know what? He's like a mix between a demon and a what are the Zabrakis? Zabraki? Is that Star Wars dudes with the horns? Darth Maul, he was a Zabraki, I think. Gosh, I'm just not on it today. But, you know what I mean. I think they're called Zabrakis. Zabrakian? Is that what they are? Anyway, that's what he looks. Cross between a demon and a Zabraki. That's what he looks like to me. And his color scheme is even... And there are some weird fan pictures of this guy, man. Like, he just has his horns all over the place. Some people have some weird Darkonda dreams or fantasies or something. Anyway, there's some decent photos of him online, I guess. I like his color scheme, right? So we're gonna get to definitely use some German gray, and we're gonna try and find a nice orangey red color. I may have to make one. I guess I could use Wild Rider red, maybe. It's not really orangey enough though. Because he's like a fire. Here we go. Let's see. I have one called Burning Orange. That might be the ticket right there. Or Fireball Orange. Yeah, we're gonna use Burning Orange. That's what we're gonna go with, I think, to start. We'll see. We'll see how this looks. Anyway, yeah, his color scheme is super cool. Because he's just super cool. All right, I'm blabbing because I am trying to decide. Maybe I'll do Corn Red to start as a base and then start highlighting with some oranges. Corn Red is a very dark red. It's almost like a maroon color. I think that's what we're going to go with as a base, and then we'll build up from there. This really is only two colors, right? Is black and that orange, which we're going to use German gray for. Some of his spikes are a bone color. The ones on his head look to be a shade of bone. Sorry, I'm still flipping through pictures. It seems to be a shade of bone, but then like the spikes around his claws, teeth, I don't know what they really are, around his collar are like a silver. So we're going to kind of mix the two together. He's, like I said, he's mostly red from what I can see. His chest His part of his face are black. I think all the way down to his feet, though, are red. There's also a cool picture where I see that he's kind of fused together with the black guy with the green lines. The guy that looks like he's from Tron. I can't remember their names, guys. You know who I'm talking about, though. Looks like he's fused together with him, like some Dragon Ball Z style. He's a really interesting bad guy. So it looks like maybe on the side here could be black. I don't know. I can't get a good picture of his whole head to toe, like to see his legs. I got him from the waist up real well. Oh, there's fan art though. It looks like part of him is starting to like break through. Oh, you can kind of see it on the model. Where like the skin that was... Okay, so that part right here on the leg, that will be black. Ecliptor, thank you. I just call him the Tron guy because he looks like he should be from Tron. Alright, so it's going to be black on his chest. And then there's parts where you can see like his outer shell has started to kind of like peel back. There's a little bit here on his arm, a little bit here on his leg. We're going to hit those first. His back, it's hard to tell. I don't think that this is torn open, but maybe it is. Maybe we'll do a little black back there. So we're going to do the black stuff first because it will be harder once we start painting the red to see where everything's going to go. So we're going to do the black first. And for black, we use Mr. German Gray. There are chains. Yep, there's some chains that wrap down. They go from the top of his back or down around and then connect to his hip, where a belt would be or something. All right, so we got our German Gray. We're starting with that. I feel like I'm really talkative today. That's either a good thing or a bad thing. I guess we'll find out. All right, I'm going to put some airbrush thinner on there. In place of water because I want to, basically. I do need to get a paper towel, though. Very, very unprepared in the first few minutes of this stream. Today has been a very busy day. I wanted to be much more prepared than that. So... let's see. Most of his face is black. He's got like a weird red triangle thing. So I'm going to hit the whole thing with black and then we'll come back over that red a little bit later. And I will end up painting over the spikes and I'll come back and get those later as well. We just want to stop less talking, more getting paint on the model. That's really what we're trying to do here. All right. I may have watered down this paint a little too much, but that's all right. Let's see, it looks like his hands are going to be this color as well. So we're going to do that. His sword looks pretty basic. Just your basic, like, golden hilt with a silver blade. Almost like he was a king or something, or a knight of some kind. It's a very medieval-looking sword, which is weird for Power Rangers. Still deciding if I want to do that corn red as a base or if I just want to start with the orange and go from there. I may end up just starting with the orange and then putting a red shade on it to darken it and then re-hitting it with orange again. That might end up being the best route to go. I do have an orange shade, but I also have a red shade. So it may make more sense to hit it with the orange and a red shade and then highlight back up the orange. That might save us some time because it is a pretty detailed model. It looks like his shoulder pads, the outlines of his shoulder pads are black, and the inner part of the shoulder pads are red. That's going to be a little bit of a challenge later on. We can go ahead and paint them black now, but I'm going to end up getting that orange/red, whatever I end up doing, on the black. So I'm going to end up having to come back and do touch-ups later, but that's all right. Right now, my goal is to pick out all the stuff that's not red. That way, it will make doing the red a little easier. Definitely put way too much paint thinner on the German gray, because it is significantly thinner than I normally like to do with it. But and if that ever happens to you, you know, you're painting and you water down too much, super simple fix. Don't keep painting like I am. Do as I say, not as I do. Just put a little more paint on there. Thicken it back up. Alright, so these tears in his outer, whatever it is, his outer demon armor. I don't know if this is one or not, but it looks like one on the model. So I am going to paint it black. Like I said, he's also got one here on the front by these chains. That one's super noticeable. Looks like his demon armor is coming apart and his bottom layer of skin underneath is poking through. So I want to make sure I get that. There's like another spot here on the front. Another spot here on the front. And then there's one up here on his shoulder, it looks like. Everybody also, let me know what you're thinking about the music. I kind of decided to change it up from that techno whatever I was listening to before on my streams to kind of like this lo-fi, you know, no words, just beats. We're chilling, we're relaxing. I want everybody to be, you know, I don't know. I'm watching myself in the camera and I look stupid. You know what I mean? Just chilled out. Everybody just chill. All right, so because that was, like I said, a little more wet than I normally like to make it, it's going to take an extra second or two to dry. So just kind of, I actually bought a heat gun so that I can dry stuff on stream quicker. But I left it in the other room, so that does me no good now. Okay, dokie. So, what color was I using while we're doing that? So I'm thinking about going with this burning orange. with a fireball orange as a highlight. So the burning orange is darker, the fireball orange is lighter. These are Reapers. They are high pigmented paints, so they are not the easiest to work with, but I'm going to give it a shot. So, assuming that the paints are still good. I haven't used these in a very, very long time, so Reaper also has a tendency to separate much easier, especially the high pigmented stuff, because the pigments just can't stay with the rest of the liquid, so they separate really easily. So I'm going to give this a little bit extra time than I normally do on the paint stirrer and hope that this color is good. So let's see on my palette here. It looks good, believe it or not. That's good. Let's see. And this is a pretty thin paint. I'm not going to water this down, at least not to start with. Don't knock Duke over. All right, let's see what this looks like here. Oh, yeah, that's a great color. If you do not have this paint, you don't have access to Reaper, that's okay. Remember, there's that website that I mentioned during the last stream where you can look up paints by one company and it'll give you an equivalent by another company. Darkonda.com, I think is what it was. So you can do that for this paint, or you can just pick a GW equivalent. The reason that I'm using this and not a GW equivalent is because I don't really have a dark orange that I like from GW currently in my inventory, if you will. So I'm going, so it was Reaper, what paint color? This is Burning Orange. 29805 is their number. They like to number their paints, which is fine. But again, this is a great looking color for him. And then we darken it down with a red wash. And then highlight it back up. It should look really nice. Again, we could use an orange wash too. I'm not sure yet. I haven't really used my orange or my red washes in a while, so I'm going to have to do like a test swab or something to see which I like. All right. Yep, I'm digging that color. Now, this guy obviously has tons and tons of crevices in his costume. So we want to make sure that we are really working the paint in there so that it gets into those spots and doesn't just sit on the raised edges. Because then you'll have little white spots, which isn't a terrible thing because you can use your wash and stuff later to fill that stuff in. I'm just trying to avoid needing to do a second coat, again, mostly just because of our usual time constraints that we have here on the channel. The number on the paint was 29805, Burning Orange. It is a Reaper Master Series paint is what it's called. Somebody said they sent me pictures to my inbox. Let's see here. Oh, look at that. I was right. His back is completely exposed. It's weird. In some of the shots, like, there is a very, like, distinct, almost gold. Like, it's almost like a red and gold. But then in other shots, it's more of, like, that dark orange with light orange tones. That's what we're going to go with. I don't want to make him metallic, so I'm going to stay away from the gold. I really want him to look like he's got this, you know, outer shell, which is like his demon armor, and then on the inside is his actual skin. That's what I'm kind of going for. But photos directly from the show confirmed that this is exposed skin back here on his back, so glad I went with that route. He looks very marbled in color, yeah. But it's like each shot, again, in typical Power Ranger fashion, is different, right? Some of it looks like there's gold in that marble. Some of it looks like it's just like a dark orange on the bottom with, you know, brighter oranges on the rest of it. So I personally don't like the gold looking, so I'm going to, like I said, stay away from that and just stick with shades of orange. That's what we're going with here, shades of orange. $50 Shades of Orange, yep. That's what we're doing. Starting to get darker in here, can you tell? I'm losing that daylight. And it makes a huge difference for my painting, too. Like, I have tons of lights in this room. All of them, pretty much, with the exception of the overhead lights, pointing directly down at the table. But when it's completely dark outside, it still, like, hurts my vision in here, if that makes sense. But when it's bright like that, oh man. Night and day difference. Pun intended. Actually, the pun was not intended, but I'll pretend like it was. Get it? Night and day difference. Sunlight. No. Yeah, they may not have it on Amazon. I know that how I got it was a paint set that my wife got me many, many years ago. When I first started painting, it was like a Reaper set of paints, and this was one of the paints inside that set. It was a Master Series Reaper paint set. I don't know if they sell it separately or not. Cannot confirm without looking. No one is laughing about my pun, and that saddens me. That was a great pun about the sunlight. Come on. Give me some credit there. Even if it was unintentional, it was very well timed. There are paint sets. What number? There are paint sets. What number there is? Different ones. Yeah, I'm not sure. The one that I got, like I said, it has these different oranges. One is this burning orange. One is fireball orange. So this is 29805. The other one's 29806. I don't know the exact number of the set, though. I do remember there being some good colors in there, though. One thing that you need to be mindful of when painting with these high pigmented paints is that it will dry darker than it goes on. So you can see the difference between here, which is fresh, and down here, which is not. And that's not a bad thing. We wanted it to be darker, so... It paints on very much like a scale 75 paint. You know how scale 75, when you brush it on, it tends to be flat, like a flat color and all that, but shout out to my wife and son who are out at a concert right now. A metal concert my son wanted to go to, and believe it or not, one of my absolute favorite bands. More of a recent favorite, like they haven't been around very long, but I've been really jamming to them, is playing. And my wife was like, "Are you sure you don't want to take him?" And I was like, I'm not really much in a concert going. We went to a concert like last Sunday. Yeah, last Sunday we went to a concert. We went to go see Journey and Toto. And I don't know. I just didn't want to go to two concerts 2 weeks in a row. But that's our jam, by the way. We just really love going to concerts. So he's... my son's like, "Why? I really want to go." And my wife's like, "All right, I'll take you." And then all throughout the weekend, she was just like, "I'm surprised you're not taking him. I'm surprised." And I was like, "No, it's, you go. You have fun. Go bond. Do what you're going to do." Anyway, I am not having remorse or regrets about not going. Uh, it just stinks that one of my... Also, too, the other thing was I'm not really a huge fan of the other bands that are playing. Just the one. And they're just an opener. So it's like, do I really want to go all the way to Boston, park on a school night / work night, stay out late because they'll be home well after midnight, I'm sure, just to see one band that I really like play, 6 or 7 songs? And the icing on the cake for me was I just saw that band, like, I don't know, a couple months ago. So that's actually, seeing them a couple months ago is actually what got me into them. And I think that their set list is almost exactly the same, except for like one song changed. So I was working earlier and I had my headphones in and I was jamming out to it, and my wife was like, "Are you sure you don't want to go?" I was like, "Yes, I'm sure." Sure. I'm sure. I'm sure. And I had live stream tonight. So who would have entertained you guys if not for me? Raid. Who's raiding us? What does that mean? Mr. Z there. Luapalooza. I don't know what that means. Welcome for those that are raiding us. That's fun. I don't know what that means to be raiding, but I think it might mean when one stream ends, they like go to a random stream. We are painting Darkonda from the Power Rangers board game, Heroes of the Grid. Haha, welcome to Twitch. I'm familiar with Twitch, I just don't know what a raid is. I mean, I'm not super familiar with Twitch. Just enough to know how to turn it on and off. So, question to the chat. Which show does Darkonda come from? Is he an in-space bad guy? And now that we've got my... now that we have my description of him as a demon Zabraki who can fuse like Dragon Ball, what is he really? Watch him be like, oh no, he's like a super nice guy, and you've been calling him a demon for the last 35 minutes. He's like a super nice guy, you know, takes his kids to school every day, makes sure that they're doing their homework, and you've just been crapping on him the whole time. Oh no, he's not super nice. Just regular nice, not super nice. He kidnapped a little girl and sold her to the space overlord. I mean, maybe he needed the money so that he could pay his bills. I think the website was dakadaka.com, 2Ks. I'm switching to a smaller brush for these shoulder pads because they're killing me with their small little details here. For those that were with me last week, I had mentioned that I was going to ask Renegade if I could like alternate what I was painting, so I could paint some GI Joe and some Power Rangers, and so they really want to keep Mondays as a Power Ranger day, so they're currently looking into adding a second day of the week to be for GI Joes. So I will not be painting Power Ranger, or I will not be painting GI Joes on Monday nights. But there is a possibility that I will be painting GI Joes on a different night, in addition to these. So that's super cool. That just means more Daddy Louie. Renegade are going to add a day to the week. How much power do these people have? You know what I mean. You know. Thanks for the subscribe there, Troy1989. All right. I think that's decent coverage on that orange. I mean, I could spend like another while getting orange on the places I want orange. But that's pretty good. I know I still got to do his face too. Just making sure that I've got it everywhere else. Alright, let's look at his face here. Close-up of his face. So it looks like he's got this triangle thing. No, it's not a triangle. Let me look at my photos on my phone. Oh yeah, here's good pictures. Oh, he's got little dots on his head. Okay. Here's a good reference picture there. So it looks like this line goes kind of like across his eyes here. So from here all the way across and then here. I'm just going to paint it in completely, even in the eyes if I have to. Maybe not in the eyes. I guess, never mind, I just got some in there. His eyes are yellow, so I'm going to have to add some yellow in a little bit. But he's got these gems on his forehead, or on his head that I didn't realize were there. And those are like a bluish metallic looking color. They're like gems, so I'm gonna have to get... Probably gonna have to use a specialty paint for that. Just to give us that... Yeah, that looks good. Obviously, I'm just trying to get the colors in certain spots there so that I can put the wash on. Alright, so now for the big question. Orange wash or red wash? I call it a wash. It's also known as a shade. I always just, no matter, like GW calls them shades. I think Army Painter might call them washes. I just call them washes. Pink. I don't know if pink's gonna... I don't know. I don't know if pink's it. Alright. Let's grab my orange wash and my red wash. You could also do a brown if you wanted to. I'm trying to look at pictures and go, yep, that's... Maybe we go with orange. Let's take a look and see what this orange looks like. Just got in. Did he paint him black or dark blue? I painted him German gray. Let's check out this one. All right, I'm going with a flesh tone, actually. I'm changing it up completely. I know, I've never used German gray before. So I'm going to use Racklin Flesh Shade as my wash. I think that's going to be... it's kind of like a reddish brown. We use it mostly for skin, but I think it's going to work really well for here. And the cool part is I can get it on the black, or the German gray, which saves me from having to be careful. So I'm going right out of the pot, and I'm putting it everywhere. And no, I did not forget the chains and stuff. I left them off purposely because I knew this was going to be a sloppy step, and I wanted to make sure that I didn't get whatever shade I decided to go with on the metal parts, because this would not look well on the other stuff. I know they're chains, but he so looks like he has long braids. Yeah, it's demon braids. He has Jenko jeans on. I used to have a pair of Jenkos. I think I had a pair of shorts too, like Jenko shorts and Jenko jeans. It definitely wasn't all I wore because they were expensive, and my parents were like, yeah, no, if you want them, you need to get a job and buy them yourself. So, like, here I was, a little 13-year-old boy, friggin' on my paper route trying to deliver papers to the little old ladies so I could wear the big baggy pants that fell off my butt and had ginormous pockets for absolutely no reason whatsoever. But honestly, the only reason that I got Jenkos was because I really liked like the sewn-on patches and stuff that were like on the back. And I did not wait for the paint to dry on his face, so the wash is totally smearing with the paint on his face, and that's not good. So, yay. Yay! I gotta dab it off and see if I can salvage what's there without getting paint everywhere else. Then you found out you could add your own patches, yeah. Okay. Alright, let's set him aside for a minute and let that sink in. What if you mess up? If you mess up, it's okay. You always have 8 more Darkondas to go. Do I? I only have 1. You have 8? Why'd you get 8? Is it burnt orange? It's burning orange. They might be similar. Or I'm looking at pictures to see. Let's see. What can I do while that dries? I'm sad I screwed up the face, but that's alright. I guess I can look and see. So, the gems on his head, in some of them, they're almost like an aqua color. I do have a metallic blue. Maybe we could go with that. Give that a shot. So this is another scale 75. This is Cobalt Metal. Let's see what this looks like. I don't know if I've even ever used this paint. Yep, I guess I have. So I guess we can use that on his head. His yellow eyes. He's pretty cool looking, though. Pretty cool looking villain, man. Yeah, they do look metallic. So it's going to look like I said, like a blue gem. I don't know if you were allowed, but those of us who missed the G.I. Joe stream, it would be cool to see your reveals. I mean, I showed them off last week. I haven't been told don't show any G.I. Joes. It's all Renegade stuff, so I will gladly show them. Especially while we're waiting for stuff to dry. It looks like he just has 3 of them. It worked out well. Yeah, there's not much I can do until that dries anyway, so... So I showed off 4 miniatures from the G.I. Joe stream. The one I painted was Duke. So I still am not finished with the Duke. I still need to do the base. I want to highlight the pants and the shirt and stuff like that. He's mostly done. But definitely want to give him another 15-20 minutes of highlights for sure. But he turned out really, really good. And again, like we've talked about, right? The size, the scale is the same as Power Rangers. So, in my opinion, these models are the most detailed and the coolest looking models I have ever seen. I mean, they're just so good. And they're one-piece models, which is just crazy, right? So, I look at a game like Marvel Crisis Protocol, which love that game. It's a fun game. They make beautiful miniatures, but the scale is slightly smaller. And while they are just as detailed as these, some of the miniatures end up being 8 to 10 pieces that you have to glue together. Whereas these are one-piece sculpts. You literally take them out of the box and they're ready to play with, which is great. We also have Snake Eyes, who is super detailed. Sword came nice and straight for me. Again, all these really sharp, crisp details. You can see like the ribs on his belt and stuff like that. This video that I'm showing you, it does not do justice to just how crisp and sharp the details on the miniature are. They just really, really, really pop. CoverGirl, one of my favorites. You can see like her hair, how nice and smooth that looks, very realistic. You can see like the ripples in her jacket, the ripples in her pants, all these details and stuff. You can even see ripples on her undershirt underneath her jacket, which is just insane. And then my favorite by far, Dr. Mastermind. He just looks super, super good. You can see like his abs and stuff underneath his weird cape chain thing. You got the cobra symbols, obviously, up here near his chest bone. Just super detailed. Love it. Yeah, look at the cape. The cape is insane. Insane. Like, yeah, so good. So yeah, so those are the G.I. Joe's miniatures. Love them. Cannot wait to mix and match. All right, so he's still drying a little bit. I need to fix that face. Let's see if we can fix that face while we wait for other stuff to dry. We can compare Troll Slayer. I have some of that. Troll Slayer is significantly brighter, in my opinion. So let me move him out to the side. So here is that burning orange on my palette. And here is Troll Slayer. So you can see the difference. It's close. If I were to use a Citadel paint, I would probably go with what I've got here. I would probably go with this Jokero orange. It's not as burning. It's not as red, but it's not as neon. You know what I mean? So like of the two, I would go more this than that. You could also make your own color, right? So you could get, you could do, you know, the Troll Slayer and then put some brown in it. Some dark brown to darken it, or some dark red. So you can kind of play around with it that way, too. All right. Still, let's work on, let's do his face. Let's work on his face. So we're going to want a bone color for his teeth. Let's get some Zandry Dust. Yeah, let's go Zandry Dust. So Zandry Dust is what Citadel would consider to be their standard bone color. It's good for bones, teeth, stuff like that, at least as a base. You can always add stuff to highlight it later, but Zandry Dust is what Citadel, like I said, likes to call their bone color. So we're going to use that to start with here. I'm going to use this for his teeth, because his teeth are kind of like a rotten yellow color. There we go. And then we want to start painting his bones, his spikes in his head here. Corn red. I mean, I'm not crazy, right? The only spikes that are on him that look like actual bone is the ones on his head, right? Everything else looks either white or almost like a silver color. That's how I'm interpreting it. All right, I'm gonna go, I think, one shade lighter. That Zandry Dust is a little too dark for me. I'm gonna go into Shabby Bone. That's the next color up in the Zandry Dust line. It's a little brighter. It's usually what I finish skulls at. It's like if I were to paint a skeleton or whatever, you know, some people go all the way up to Screaming Skull, which is even brighter. So my wife and daughter have gotten me into Grey's Anatomy, and now all I want to do is sit on the couch and binge freaking Grey's Anatomy. And then, of course, my wife's not home tonight. We can't watch it without her, so I'm sad. When the stream's over with, I'm going to be sad because I can't go watch Grey's Anatomy. My daughter's favorite show is Schitt's Creek, so we'll probably just have some ice cream and watch reruns of Schitt's Creek, which I've seen every episode of Schitt's Creek like 5 times, so yay. Let's see, looking at pictures. His eyes are almost like an orangey yellow. This might be too bright. We're gonna do it anyway. Somebody will have to 3D print a McDreamy Mini. We're only on the 2nd season, but George is definitely my favorite character. face looks weird. Alright, let's get some... Alright. Well, now that some of this has dried and the face is done, I can actually start working on this orange a little more. For the eyes, I used Uriel yellow. You could also use the next shade down. I just really wanted his eyes to pop, so... When she was on maternity leave with our son, I'd come home from work and she'd be full on crying on the couch after the 4th or 5th day. It was just normal to come home to that and not panic. Nothing's happened yet that has been tear-inducing, but I'm sure it's coming. The first season was really, like, establishing characters. Second season, I'm only a couple episodes in. What we like to do is, like, once the episode has, like, established all the patients and medical cases, my daughter and I will be like, okay, taking bets on which character or which patient is going to die this episode. And then at the end of the episode, we see if we were right or not. That keeps it fun and entertaining. Betting with your daughter who's going to die. It's fun. Because the reason that started was because there was like a long stint of episodes like in a row where at least one patient would die every single episode. And then like as soon as we started taking bets on who it would be, then it started being where like that wasn't true. So there wasn't a death every single episode. So then we kind of like got screwed up. So it's like, oh, now it's... And then I bet you there'll be one where nobody will die, and it'll be like, damn it. Or, like, more than one person will die. So that's what we were doing last night. Right now, I'm just taking that original color and kind of, like, going over some of the spots that I want to be a little more... orange, I guess. The thing with a show like Grey's, and one of the reasons why it's been so long since we've tried to watch it, is just because it's a little intimidating with 17 episodes. It's crazy. It's another reason why I haven't finished Supernatural. We got a few seasons into it, and it's like, man, is this ever gonna, like, end? And it's like, oh, wait, no, it's not. It's gonna go on for 14 seasons. that's one I do want to actually get back into, though. Anyone else hearing music? I hope everyone's hearing music. Is there a chart? Oh, we should do a chart. That's a good idea, actually. The blue metallic was a Cobalt Metal from scale 75. All right, I'm going to do the silver now, I think. Silver and gold, 15 seasons. Well, Grey's is at 17 and still going, I think. I think it's still on. Which is crazy because it's like, in order to do that, when you name the show after the main character, I mean, assuming that she doesn't, like, leave for a season or whatever, which, again, I don't know. I'm only 2 seasons in, but to have the same actress playing the same character for 17 seasons is just insane. This is our favorite gold Retributor armor. I'm just using this for the hilt of the sword before we get into our silver. Highest paid actress in TV. That's crazy. I don't even really like her character very much. At least not yet. Hopefully I'll like it a little more. This is Lead Belcher, by the way. Trying to be really careful because I've already established my other colors, so I do not want this silver to get on anything. If I do, it's okay, I can fix it, but if I can avoid it, that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, Cobalt Metal. Yeah, so these chains are taking a little longer than I had wanted to, but again, it's mostly because I'm just being as careful as I can. Normally, I would want to shade this with like a black wash over the metal. I may not do that this time. Undecided at the moment. It really does make like chains pop though, having that extra wash. Chains in particular, more than like a sword, right? So like having it on the sword is kind of pointless because it's a flat surface, and a shade is meant to get like in the recesses, but with a chain you have so many little nooks and crannies along the way that it really makes that sucker pop. So I just convinced myself while talking about it that I will do it, so. I'll let it dry. Always reminds you of Battlestar Galactica. Man, Battlestar Galactica. One of, if not my favorite television show of all time. Hands down, Battlestar Galactica has, hands down, you can't convince me otherwise, the greatest scene in science fiction history. Maybe in all of cinema, period. But definitely in the greatest scene in all of sci-fi, for sure. You want to narrow it down which scene that would be? Well, funny you should ask. I believe it's season 2, but don't quote me on when it happens. But it is the scene when Galactica jumps into orbit on New Caprica, launches all of the fighters, and then jumps out. I think it's in season 2. But it's possible that was season 3, but I really think it's season 2. Because I think the New Caprica stuff was all season 2. The only thing that even comes close to that for me on a personal level is when friggin' Luke force projects himself across the galaxy to take on Kylo Ren so that his sister can escape a certain death. That was pretty amazing as far as a sci-fi scene goes as well. Correct, the reboot. All right, well, everything is painted now, so that's good. So now we can just do some highlights on that orange. So for the orange, I'm going to attempt to switch over to Fireball Orange. It's the next color up from the Burning Orange, and we're going to see how that looks as a highlight to the rest of his orange. Use my paint stirrer for a second. And I am going to put that wash in the chain. But we'll see. Yeah, I'm sure if you just go to YouTube and type in, like, Galactica jumps on New Caprica or whatever, like hyper jumps on New Caprica, you'll see the scene I'm talking about. It was just like, at the time I was like, what captain or commander in their right mind would, or in his case he was an admiral, but Like, he literally jumped into a freaking planetary orbit, launched all his fighters, and then jumps out. Like, are you serious? Because they were trying to rescue all the humans on the planet. Like, insane. It was just crazy. I was like out of my seat, like, are you kidding me? That's so cool. And he knew the dangers. Like, he knew that the ship was going to sustain a massive amount of damage from, you know, the heat and all that stuff. It was just so cool. This orange isn't really doing much. Not as much as I was wanting it to do. There's a red spiral around. Are there? Where is there a red spiral? The spiral's like near his hand. Oh, like the things that wrap around his forearms? Episode. Oh, okay. So I was incorrect. It is not season 2. It is season 3. The Adama maneuver. It sounds like it. Love it. What did you use to brighten the orange? This is the next color up in that line. So this is Fireball Orange. So our base coat was Burning Orange, and then we did a wash of Racklin Flesh Shade, and then we went to Fireball Orange next. And I'm going to put some yellow in there now to do a few spots of even more. So I'm going to just take that Uriel yellow that I had on my palette already from the eyes, and I'm going to mix in some of that Fireball Orange to brighten it up more. I'm not going to do a ton of this the way I did with the brighter orange. I'm just going to do a bit in certain spots. And I'm not really giving any rhyme or reason to why I'm putting it where I'm putting it. Because on his costume, there seems to be, strips of gold in certain places. So this is going to kind of mimic that a little bit. Just kind of a mix of... got it on his hand. That's all right. If you could bring any franchise to a minis tabletop game, what would it be? I mean, I would say He-Man, but that's coming. So... because of what we already know. I don't know. I feel like we've got everything that's worth having. I wish that they would make another Star Wars game that was not a Fantasy Flight game. Because I feel like they've ruined Star Wars games. So I'd love like a Star Wars game that was not done by Fantasy Flight. and done correctly. I'm trying to think of what I need to grab while I'm also... Thundercats would be cool. I don't know that the franchise is deep enough character-wise, but it would be cool to see it go, like, be combined with something like, you know, the Guardian system, where we could use, like, the G.I. Joes and the Transformers and the Power Rangers and the Thundercats and all that together. Again, I would really love a good Star Wars game. I know some people will argue with me and be like, oh, Legion is good. It's not. It could have been, and it's not. X-Wing is probably the best one that they make. Even though they let it get way out of hand. I think it's been reeled back in a little bit. It's just so expensive, right? If it was half the cost that it currently is, I mean, $20 for one ship is ridiculous. Especially when the ship is, like, literally, like, this big. I was just in the store the other day, and they had the Clone Wars version of the Jedi Starfighter, or, like, it's not really the Clone Wars version. It's, like, the first version, the one that required the hyperspace ring in order to hyperjump. Anyway, they had Anakin's, and I was like, oh, that's so cool, because I actually have a collection of Jedi Starfighters. It's my favorite ship. So I've got, like, the Titanium series. I've got literally every color except 2, and the only reason I don't have them is because they went out of print before I could get my hands on them, and they're an astronomical price on eBay, and so I just literally watch them all the time, hoping to catch one on the cheap. But anyway, I was like, yeah, I'd really like this little Jedi Starfighter. It's freaking $20, and it's literally, like, the size of a third of my finger. You know, like, holy crap. Imperial Assault was fun, and then they stopped for whatever reason. I will never understand why. That was Nuln Oil, by the way. I just put that over the chains to give it some dimension. And now I'm going to try and decide what I want to do with the base. I have no idea. I have played Imperial Assault. I've not played the skirmish version of Imperial Assault. Or the skirmish mode. I've only played the campaign. And it's funny because I own the game plus a few of the expansions, and I've actually never even used my copy. Because I went to a friend's house and he had it and we played it, and I loved it so much that I had to buy it. But unless you're playing skirmish and you're each picking a character, like the same character, you only need one copy of the game. I mean, the good news is it's Star Wars, right? So our chances of getting another Star Wars game in our lifetime are pretty high. So I'm sure that will happen eventually. It's just unfortunately right now the rights are with companies that I do not trust to do right. You know, Asmodee bought... Well, Asmodee owns Fantasy Flight. They also own Atomic Mass Games. Atomic Mass Games started with Marvel Crisis Protocol, which, in my opinion, is one of the superior skirmish games on the market today. even though I'm very disappointed with their marketing strategy, but you know, they're making money, so who am I to judge, I guess. But then Fantasy Flight, or Asmodee, took the Star Wars franchise games away from Fantasy Flight and gave them to Atomic Mass Games. So it's possible that now that Atomic Mass Games has the Star Wars games, that things will get better. I don't know. I haven't really been following. That was like a year ago that happened, so I haven't really followed much. I just wish that Atomic Mass Games had not released, and continues to do so many expansions for Marvel Crisis Protocol so quickly. That's one of the things I love about Power Rangers is, you know, we get one or two, you know, big releases, maybe a couple of small ones, and that's it. Whereas, you know, something like Marvel Crisis Protocol is getting 3 to 4 boxes a month, and they cost, you know, $40 to $50 a box. And if you're anybody, and then, you know, you always hear that argument like, well, you don't have to buy them all, Louie. Well, I feel like I do, because one, I'm a completionist, and two, games like that, specifically that game, you need the extra cards that come with the characters to be competitive sometimes. You know, so that's their strategy, is they'll put a couple good cards in the character boxes, and it's like, well, I don't care about, you know, X character, but now I feel like I have to buy them because I need the cards. And again, I'm a completionist. And damn it, the models look so good, you know? And the game is fun as hell. They're just releasing so much all at once. It's hard to keep up. So I have to focus on certain games, otherwise I'll get overwhelmed. That's what I like about, we talked about this on last stream, right? Like with the Cool Mini or Not Masters of the Universe game. So I went all in, right? So it was like $475 for everything. But the game will probably never see any future support, because they literally gave us every character known to man in the He-Man universe as stretch goals and stuff. So granted, I paid $475 for everything, but I'm never going to have to invest any more money in that game. Like, I'm good. If they do, great, but the likelihood of them releasing anything else for that particular game is pretty slim. And I think a lot of us thought that Renegade would do the same, right? With Power Rangers. I never thought that we'd see this many expansions. And here we are, like, what, 3 years later? 2 years later? Was it 2 years? 2.5 years-ish? So a few times a year, I give money to Renegade, and they send me everything I need, and then I'm good. It's not that bad. But well, that's pretty much it. See if I can get this to... It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Maybe I'll put a little bit of wash on that hilt. since we've got the time. Let's see. Nope, not this one. Yeah, they said at the con that they don't expect Rangers. They didn't expect... No, I don't think they did. And now that they know that they have the market for this much Ranger stuff, you know, fingers crossed they're going to do the same thing with G.I. Joe. I mean, look, we're already looking at deep cuts with... I mean, I don't remember CoverGirl ever being, like, a main character in G.I. Joe. And I'm not really too sure about Dr. Mastermind. I'm sure he was at some point. But, you know, there's so many characters in the G.I. Joe universe. And then, you know, knock on wood, they haven't said it, but let's face it, we're probably going to get a Transformer game as well, and there's so many Transformers they can do. They could just keep going and building this huge game with all these characters and all these modes and all these combinations, and it's super, super cool. And then, you know, they could get other franchises and add that stuff in. Give me a My Little Pony board game that I can play. I can play frickin' Rainbow Dash with the Red Ranger and Snake Eyes while facing Storm Shadow and Rita Repulsa and Megatron. Like, give me that game. Give it to me. I want it. I will paint... Listen, if they let me paint My Little Pony, it's over, guys. Like... That will become my full-time job. Just let me paint My Little Pony all day, every day. What do you think? Is there anything else? Like, I can't believe I'm finished and we still have 7 minutes. I think he looks pretty good. What was that on the sword? That was Racklin Flesh Shade. I just put it on the hilt. I'm going to leave the blade alone. I just put it on the gold. You missed his pink left foot. I'll show you a pink left foot. I think it looks pretty good, huh? I didn't know how this model was going to turn out, but now that I'm like looking at him in all of his glory, I think he looks pretty I think it looks pretty darn snazzy. Let's see. Let's hold Duke up next to him. So no, see, I'm not seeing any red spirals. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm looking at pictures and I don't see any red spirals. So I guess I'm not doing any red spirals. Yeah, Duke, that was a fun as heck. Oh, somebody just... Oh, I see. So, like, the red wraps around him. Yeah, instead of doing, like, the red in random spots, I just decided to stick with orange and just brighten it up. I can kind of see what you mean, though. In some scenes, he does look like he has red. In other scenes, it's like all orange with like red highlights. I personally just kind of dig the orange. Yeah, he's pretty cool. Let's see. Let's take a picture of him. Haha. He's like, hello. I've come to kill you. Ha ha ha. There's so many different pictures. It's just crazy. Just paint half of them red. You have like 3 minutes. Yeah, let's just get some red on there. I don't know. I think he looks cool. If you wanted to do red, I mean, you could just do random red stripes on it. I don't know how good that would look. But you could if you wanted to. I think I'm just going to leave him like this. Yeah. Oh no. I wiped off some of the black on his base. All right. So let's do shout-outs, right? So next week I am off, right? Yep. So our next stream will be Monday, the 28th. Same time, same location as always. I will make a post on the Facebook page and see what it is that you guys want to see me paint next time. Oh, nope, wrong button. That one. There we go. Not done yet. You didn't lose me yet. I kind of want to paint one of those quantum trooper dudes that Renegade so generously sent us a brand new pack of that they totally didn't have to do, but is appreciated. So I got that, and I would kind of love to paint one of those. Time Force is not here yet. It's on the way, but not here yet. So if that comes in, Quantrons, yes, thank you, those guys. What did I call them? Yeah, so I'd love to paint one of those. That would be fun. But if other people want to see other things, then I will. I'll post a poll like usual. I am going to be starting my own painting streams separate from Renegade. I'm working out a few minor kinks. That is coming. I may do a test stream next week. We'll call it episode 0 of the show. Maybe Monday. We'll see. If you follow my socials, at The Real, REAL, Daddy Louie, one word, LOUIE. Or actually, I made a Facebook page for that, and it would be It's So Tiny. So if you saw my post on the Facebook Renegade page of what we were painting today, I actually posted that from my other page. So follow me in all the places, and you'll see a schedule. I'll post it in if I decide to do that next Monday or next week. But that's coming soon. So I plan on painting things outside of Power Rangers. I've got He-Man minis to paint. I've got Marvel minis to paint. Ninja Turtles. I've got Warhammer. I've got War Machine. I've got Star Wars. I've got Relic Blade. I've got D&D minis, Pathfinder minis. I literally have miniatures I have board game minis, like board games. We just started playing a couple board games over the weekend. One called Sky Tier. It has minis. I'd love to paint that. So I have a ton of different things that I want to paint outside of just Power Rangers. So I love painting Power Rangers, but I want to paint other stuff too. So that is coming. Yeah, Hero Quest minis. I would love to paint those too. I have so many miniatures that need to be painted. Why not do it here on stream with you guys? So I look forward to being able to officially launch that. I will let you guys know for sure when that is ready. As always, I thank Renegade for having me on these streams, allowing me to do this with you guys. It means the world to me that you'd spend your Monday night with me. So make sure that you take care of yourself, take care of others, and please be sure to play your games. Don't let them collect dust. Play them now. And I'll see you guys in 2 weeks.